presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Ohio.
What once was a heated rivalry in the 70s has officially resurfaced. Last year's season series included a number of hit batters, a handful of walk-off wins, and a season-long battle that continued all the way to the playoffs. Now, in 2014, both teams off to a slow start. The Pirates have lost 3 in a row after getting swept in Milwaukee. For the Reds, the Bats finally woke up yesterday in their win over Tampa Bay with a season high in runs and hits. It's an NL Central Division showdown. It's a rivalry renewed, and it starts now on Fox Sports Ohio. It is a warm weather night, but it's a cloudy and perhaps even rainy Monday night in Cincinnati. And we welcome you to Great American Ballpark. My, oh my. First meeting of the year. And a rivalry renewed indeed. The Pittsburgh Pirates come to town to take on the Cincinnati Reds. And look who's here tonight. First time all year long, the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley. I'm Tom Brenneman, delighted to have you with us right here on Fox Sports Ohio. These two teams, not necessarily wins and losses similar. Pirates have been a little bit better, but they have been eerily similar in a number of different ways statistically.
Well, the one-run ball games have been the biggest key, Tom, for these guys early on. You see the numbers right there. 7 one-run ball games. The Pirates, they've done very well. 5-2. The Reds have not done so well. And Homer Bailey, this is going to be a big start for him tonight. He has got to come out and pitch well against his ball club.
Well, this Pirate team really struggled over the weekend against Milwaukee. They were completely shut down by Brewers pitching. And so Bailey, who in his career has thrown the ball very well against the Pirates, but last year they made some headway against him.
Well, they did, Tom. He did not have a win, and this was a pitcher that was 1-8 of his first 10 decisions against the Pirates. Bailey will have to locate the fastball tonight, and the big key is facing their 4, 5, and 6 guys, Alvarez, Martin, and then on to Walker. They have 6 home runs between the 3. That is going to be a big step for Bailey.
And his mound opponent tonight, we've seen him plenty through the years, left-hander Wandy Rodriguez.
I think when you watch Wandy Rodriguez, whether it's in a Houston uniform or in a Pirates uniform, it's all about the breaking ball. When he's consistent in the strike zone with the breaking ball, he gives the Reds major difficulty. No breaking ball, there's a problem.
It's the first of 3 between the Reds and the Pirates, and still plenty more to come from here at Great American Ballpark. We're just a handful of minutes away from the first pitch. There was a lot of this going on last year. Does that carry into 2014? Jim Day will have more when we return.
Are going to get this ball game in. Yeah, they may catch a little bit of light rain from time to time, but all in all, not a bad evening. Temperatures dropping from low 60s down to about 50 degrees. Don't forget, you could see a few flurries or snow showers tomorrow morning. Enjoy the game, everybody. On Fox Sports Ohio, here's my good buddy, Jim Day.
Tim, thank you very much. Brandon Phillips has been the most consistent Reds hitter in the early part of this season, and they certainly hope that his performance against the Pirates last year carries over as well. Although when you talk about Brandon Phillips and the Pittsburgh Pirates, the first thing they point to is when he got beaned last year, a pitch by Tony Watson. Now, Brandon had a career year, over 100 RBI for the first time in his career, but his numbers dipped after being hit because of the injury. But overall, against the Pirates, 302, 3 home runs, 15 runs driven in. That's the most home runs and RBIs against any other team, any other opponent. So the Reds would like that to carry over, and they'd love the 12-run outburst they put on the board yesterday to carry over as well. It's a rivalry renewed. Central Division rivalry baseball. Tom Brenneman and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley have the lineups and the first pitch after this on your home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio.
Fox Sports Ohio brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further by Cincinnati USA. For endless things to do all year long, stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Skyline Chili, feeling good. It's Skyline time. It was raining just a few minutes ago. Appears to have stopped for the time being, and we're hoping it stays that way throughout the night and get this one in. The Pirates in town. 94 wins a season ago, ending that 20-year drought of winning baseball in Pittsburgh. Clint Hurdle, the manager, and his lineup presented by Meyer. Starling Marte in left, Travis Snyder in right. Reigning MVP Andrew McCutchen in center. Pedro Alvarez, Russell Martin, and Neil Walker in the middle. A latter third of Gabby Sanchez, Clint Varmas, and left-hander Wandy Rodriguez against 0-1 right-hander who struggled his first 2 outings, Homer Bailey.
He did struggle, and he struggled with command, and command is going to be key against this club tonight. Both clubs struggling offensively, but the walks put guys on, and then the long ball is what hurt Homer Bailey against this club last year.
Starling Marte to lead things off. They just inked him to a 6-year deal. Very talented young outfielder. He looks at a fastball out of the zone. This one underway. Phil Cuzzy calls the balls and strikes. Brian Knight at first. Quinn Wolcott, the umpire, at second. And the crew chief is Jerry Davis at third. Marte 13 of 49 to begin the year with a couple of runs batted in, has 3 stolen bases. Coming off a rough weekend in Milwaukee, he went 2 out of 12 with 5 strikeouts. Of course, the whole team struggled. That one down the line, and this is trouble into the corner. Bruce gets to it quickly, and Marte, who can run, begins the game with a double to right field.
Breaking ball up in the strike zone. You can see Marte go with it. That's a breaking ball that was right at the mask of Mesoraco. And that's a pitch Bailey struggled with against the Cardinals, both in start 1 and start 2.
Travis Snyder has been getting the bulk of the playing time out in right field. And is off to a pretty good start. 11 out of 38, a couple of home runs, and 5 runs batted in. Pirates have one of the most highly touted young players in the minor leagues in all of baseball, a young fellow named Gregory Polanco. And most believe that he will man right field for many years to come, perhaps as early as June of this year. 1-1 to Snyder.
Yeah, you look at all 3 powers here in the Central. The Cardinals with Taveras, Oscar Taveras coming up. You look at Polanco for the Pirates, and Billy Hamilton is the first one here for the Reds.
1-2 on Snyder.
I would think, Tom, that a run early in this ball game would really help each offense. They've struggled mightily to put runs on the board, even though the Reds did a phenomenal job yesterday.
Runner at second, nobody out. A ball and 2 strikes on Travis Snyder, and Bailey trying to put him away, and this will not advance the runner. Or will it? Will Marte take off? No, he won't. Cozart alertly snuck in behind Frazier to get over in case Marte thought about it. Take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. The same cast of characters we have generally seen throughout each and every game to begin the year.
I don't know that you could draw it up any better. Mesoraco, probably the biggest bat in the lineup, and probably is the one that was the most missed early.
Well, what a start he is off to indeed. Mesoraco, 7 hits in his first 14 at bats, including a pair of bombs and 3 doubles.
There's a lot of folks calling for him to move up in the lineup.
So now the reigning most valuable player in the National League, Andrew McCutchen, 3-time All-Star, won a Gold Glove in center field. Takes on the outside corner, a strike.
And McCutchen loves hitting in this ballpark. Has power, whether it be right center or left center. 3 home runs here last year.
And that one scoots by Cozart into left center field. They're going to wave around Marte. Here comes a throw by Hamilton way offline, and McCutchen, the beat goes on. An RBI single. And here in the first inning, the Pirates have taken a 1-0 lead.
This is why we talk about fastball location so much. Mesoraco set up on the outside corner. If you hit the corner, that ball's off the end of the bat, rather the sweet spot of the bat. That ball stayed over the heart of the plate. MVPs don't miss that too many times, buddy.
5th run batted in this year for McCutchen, and now it brings up their big slugger in the middle of this lineup, their third baseman Pedro Alvarez. He only has 8 hits and 45 at bats, but 5 of his 8 hits have left the ballpark, and he has 10 runs batted in. You may remember he hit 36 home runs, driving in 100 a year ago.
Does not get cheated.
Now that's the good news. The 36 home runs and the 100 RBIs. He also led the league in strikeouts, 186 of those. And over the weekend in Milwaukee, you talk about having a hard time. 0 for 10, struck out 5 of the 10 at bats.
And it's not just the breaking ball that fools Alvarez. He will chase that fastball up and out of the strike zone. And Homer Bailey has the velocity to get it by him. He's just got to make sure he gets it above the hands. You throw this guy a cookie in the middle of the plate, I don't care how hard you throw it, he's going to reverse it.
Many of us remember, outside of one start, and he made 5 of them against the Pirates, did Homer Bailey in 2012. One of those 5, of course, a no-hitter. He had 2 other games where he had a complete game, allowed 1 run, 7 innings, 1 run. Only got kicked around once in that 2012 year. Last year's first 2 starts were pretty good. 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 1/3, 3 runs. Reds lost both of those games. His overall numbers against the Pirates are pretty good, but the last 2 times they faced him in the final 10 days of the regular season last year, they scored 8 runs against him in 10 2/3 innings.
You look at both of those starts, and a lot of pitches were out of the strike zone. When you're walking 3 and 4 batters a ball game and you add home runs to that, that's a rough combination.
Yeah, in those last 2 starts, he walked 8 batters in 10+ innings. McCutchen a perfect 3 of 3 in stolen base attempts. He's a whole package, as many of you know. I mean, he plays brilliantly everywhere. Offense, defense, running game. And that's ball 3 on Alvarez. So do you take the chance with a guy who strikes out a lot and get McCutchen started 3 and 2 with 1 out in the inning?
I imagine that this Pirate club will test Mesoraco early. Bailey trying to do everything he can to throw off the timing of McCutchen. He's thrown over there a couple of times. I think he was dead set to just hold the ball until Alvarez called timeout on that at bat.
Not going on the pitch and straight up into the air. Frazier will handle it for the 2nd out of the inning. But Alvarez screaming at himself after he missed that pitch, one he felt he should have done some damage on.
Fastball got right in on his hands. The Reds were playing Alvarez around to pull. Frazier caught that ball at shortstop, but that got in on the knuckles of Alvarez.
So now it'll be the catcher, Russell Martin. 9 hits, 32 at bats already, a couple of home runs and 6 runs batted in. When the Pirates signed Russell to a 2-year deal prior to last season, I think most people looked at that as a low impact move. He was coming off a rough year with the New York Yankees, but my oh my did he prove his importance on multiple levels. Hit 15 home runs, had the 2nd lowest catcher's ERA among all catchers in Major League Baseball, and provided tremendous leadership for a very young staff.
Knows how to call a game. And I can tell you, when you're standing on the mound and it's crunch time, you want to be on the same page with the guy behind the dish.
Still 0-2 on Martin.
3 consecutive breaking balls from Bailey. And it's interesting that Bailey is going this route, Tom, because that's the 2 pitches that Martin hit out of the ballpark last year. Hanging breaking balls in the middle of the plate.
Last year, these 2 teams split the first 16 times they played against one another. And as we all remember, they were separated by a single game heading into the final 3 of the regular season, trying to nail down home field advantage. McCutchen running, and it swung on and fouled out of play. The Pirates came in here. They nailed that down emphatically. A 3-game sweep. They outscored the Reds 16-6 in the 3-game series. And then it was a disaster from the very beginning in the 1-game playoff in a 6-2 Pirate win. Good block there by Devin Mesoraco. A ball and 2 strikes on Russell Martin.
Coming back with another breaking ball.
And once more, barely fouled away, but fouled away nonetheless to stay around.
You can really see Martin front shoulder going out over the plate, trying to get to that breaking ball. You have to wonder, could he even come close to a fastball in here? But will Bailey take the chance?
Hooked to Cozart. The force out will end the inning, but a scoring inning for the Pirates against Bailey. Reds will bat for the first time, trailing 1-0. In the big win over Tampa Bay, they're down 1-0. And his lineup presented by Meyer has Hamilton, Votto, and Phillips at the top. Frazier, Bruce, Ludwick in the middle. Devin Mesoraco, Zach Cozart, Homer Bailey at the bottom. And they are facing a guy that's been around his 9th year in the major leagues. 35-year-old left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. The Reds saw him from 2005 through 2012 with Houston. He was traded to the Pirates.
Fastball, changeup, but the curveball is his #1 pitch. When he has had that working against the Reds, he has been awfully difficult for the Reds to handle. Without the curveball for a strike, and he's lost a little bite on that breaking ball as he's gotten older. Wandy Rodriguez is now 35 years old.
8-12 is his record against the Reds for Wandy Rodriguez. Tonight his 31st career start against Cincinnati. And an ERA of a little more than 4 1/4. Reds have won 8 of the last 9 games with Rodriguez on the mound. Hamilton trying to bunt, and that has not worked well for him the early part of this year. He has 1 bunt hit so far, and that's an easy out.
And it's really been difficult for him from the right side. You can see Hamilton really wanting to push the ball to the right side. I think what Billy has to understand is just because you have in mind to bunt, if the pitch is up and out of the zone, don't bunt the baseball.
So now Joey Votto, 11 hits and 42 at bats, hit his second home run of the year. He's homered in 2 of the last 3 games. Had the home run on Friday night. A 2-run home run to snap a 2-2 tie in the 3rd inning yesterday.
And Votto has hit Rodriguez well.
Joey taking quickly 2 strikes behind 0-2. And a breaking ball in the dirt.
Those are pretty solid numbers against a left-hander that has been very difficult at times against the Reds. Over the last couple of years, things have changed a little bit.
Well, he's really gone through a lot of peaks and valleys. I mean, that's an often overused phrase, but when you look at his career, primarily with Houston, against the Reds, he'd go 4 or 5 starts, lights out, 4 or 5 where they kicked him around a little bit.
And I think, Tom, that's part of having your crucial pitch being that big sweeping breaking ball. It's difficult to throw for strikes. You never know what the umpire behind the plate is going to call on any given day.
Votto flips the bat away, and after falling behind 0-2, draws the walk. Take a look at the Pirates on defense, presented by your Ford dealers. They can go get them in left and center. Barnes solid at shortstop. And we know about Russell Martin and what a great job he did throwing out would-be base stealers at a 40% clip a season ago.
Gabby Sanchez and Travis Ishikawa, a platoon at first base. You don't normally see that in the big leagues. Maybe a platoon at shortstop or maybe in the outfield, but not at a key position like first.
Oh, and 1 to Brandon Phillips. 16 of 49 to begin the year at a 327 clip, a home run, 3 batted in. He had 3 hits, all with 2 strikes in 5 trips yesterday. And like Votto, behind here quickly at 0-2. It's a very comfortable night. We're just hoping the rain will stay away. This is one of those very odd 24 to 36-hour periods we're going to go through, or expected to go through here in Cincinnati, where the weather has just been spectacular the entire weekend. Up in the 70s, if not up to 80 yesterday. Today was cloudy, but very comfortable, warm. Well, they're talking about it getting very, very cold overnight and all day tomorrow. And of course, tonight, one of 4 dates. Our friends from the SPCA, Imes and Kroger, Bark in the Park, where you bring your best 4-legged friend of the yard. And that is strike 3 on Phillips, 2 away in the inning.
Fastball to get ahead, curveball to put him away. You can see it right out of the hand of Rodriguez. He starts it in the same spot as the fastball and bounces it to the plate.
Todd Frazier, as you know, came smoking out of the gate. Began the year with a 7-game hitting streak and has really cooled off, beginning with that last road trip. He has 1 hit in his last 19 at bats. 0 for 5 here yesterday. And only 1 hit during the 3-game series against Tampa Bay. Third straight batter Rodriguez has gotten in front of at 0-2.
And amazingly, he's coming right at the Reds with fastballs. 87 to 90. Strike 1, strike 2. Then he goes to the secondary pitch, the curveball.
Nothing 2 to Frazier. And that ball's hit pretty well. Deep center field. Forget all about it.
Should have thrown him the curveball. Well, for two teams that have struggled to get on the board here in the first few ball games, they're both on the board in the early going. Well, that is not a very good 0-2 pitch. Thigh high, middle away. Oh, thank you very much, says Todd Frazier.
That'll make him feel a little better about things right now. Home run number 3 for Frazier. So the Reds have a 2-1 lead on the 2-run home run. And now Jay Bruce.
You give up a shot like that, that'll make you a little bit more timid on that first pitch fastball, just throwing it right down Broadway.
That ball was hammered.
Oh.
I mean, when it hits that black batter's eye out there, about halfway up.
That's when you don't want to turn around and look.
McCutchen didn't.
Ricochet hit McCutchen in the back of the nugget.
2-1 to Jay Bruce.
Well, there's a reason that Frazier is hitting number 4 in the lineup. When he catches them, they get out of here.
Fly ball into left field. Marte waits, and that will do it. But the Reds answer with one and add one. Frazier plays long ball. Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Now, last year, these two teams combined. Since 1914, 28 batters were hit. That's the second most between two teams in a single season going back 100 years.
There may not be every hitter that knows that is going on, but you can be assured every pitcher knows that is going on.
And no one took it harder for the Pirates. Brandon Phillips undeniably, and what it did to his season when he got hit on the left arm. Of course, it sent his numbers spiraling downward, and you give credit to Brandon, he continued to play. But when Neil Walker took one from Matt Latos in the ribs last year, there are reports that Walker went into his pitchers and said, you guys better give it a rest. I mean, that pitch was about 94, 95 miles per hour right in the ribs and dropped right to his feet. It almost brought Walker to his knees. 28 times.
That's a war. And if you think about it, Tom, there are not a whole lot of soft tossers on either team.
No. Bullpen or rotation.
Yeah.
Three and one. And now full count on Walker. Native Pittsburgh kid. He's carved out a nice career for himself with the Pirates. Now his numbers dropped significantly last year. Then he had a really hard time in the National League Division Series. In fact, went hitless against the Cardinals. In the air to deep right center field, and he has tied this game. Holy Moses, was that hammered. We have seen two very long home runs in this one already, and we're in the second inning.
I've got to imagine that that is the reason that you see Alvarez, Martin, and Walker in back-to-back fashion. Because he wants this. Clint Hurdle wants the long ball. If you make a mistake and you throw hard, all you've got to do is get the hands to the baseball, and that's what Walker does there.
Well, Bailey really had a hard time of it in St. Louis his last start. And you may remember the Reds gave him the lead a couple of times in that game. 3-0 after a half inning. Reds made it 4-0 with a run in the second inning. Bailey gave up 4 in the bottom of the inning to tie. The Reds would stake him to a lead in the 5th. He left the game with a 1-run lead, only to watch that slip away. And this ball's clobbered straight away center field. And they go back to back.
Only so many times that you can talk about fastball location. But for Bailey, those balls are in the middle of the plate, and big league hitters tattoo those. See where that ball runs back to. Middle to the outside part of the plate. And every Pirate hitter knows Bailey is coming with fastball. You locate him on the corners, you get the ball off the end of bat or on the hands. But if it's middle in or middle away, that's usually the fat part of the bat.
Bailey has faced 7 batters to begin this game. 4 of them have hits, 3 of them have extra base hits, 2 of them have home runs. A ball and 2 strikes on the shortstop, Clint Barnes. He has become the primary backup now. They flipped that thing around. You may remember roughly about the middle of last year. Jordy Mercer now their regular shortstop. But Barnes in there tonight. With a flare that will drop over the head of Brandon Phillips, and on a 1-2 pitch, Barmes drops one into center. Just his second hit of the year. Homer single to begin this Pirates second inning.
Didn't hit it well.
Wandy Rodriguez, a career 130 hitter. He only had 2 hits in 22 at bats, and he'll be up there to bunt here.
He stepped up there left-handed. They gave him a sign, and then he switches around right-handed. I guess he's going to bunt.
Maybe he's a better right-handed bunter.
I would say so. Well, it's easier to bunt towards the first base side as a right-hander. If you're going to bunt the ball to third, it would be easier left-handed.
Well, he showed bunt and pulled that bat away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Not too many pitchers are switch hitters. Wandy Rodriguez is.
Forcing Bailey to throw strikes, and he's missed on 2 in a row, 2-1. Tell you what, with Clint Hurdle, you never know what's coming. He is a manager that will not manage by the quote-unquote book. Stabbed at that one, fouled it away.
Well, just pulling the bat back on the second bunt attempt for Rodriguez, even though it was a ball, it slowed Votto's charge down.
Nice to have the Cowboy here tonight over on the television side. That was the first time you put a tie on in a while, since probably church in Mississippi back in February. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
3-2 now on Rodriguez. Bailey has thrown 41 pitches in the game and has not recorded an out here in the second inning. And that one fouled away for strike 3, so that is the first out. Well, as a reminder, something to look forward to later on tonight, our Miller Time moment. Right here on the exclusive home of Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio. Back-to-back home runs by Walker and Sanchez here in the second inning after the Reds had taken a 2-1 lead on a 2-run home run by Frazier. 1 on, 1 out. Back to the top of the order we go. You know, watching Homer Bailey, Tom, after having the right groin injury in spring training, when he came back in his first start back, he was pitching against minor leaguers. He looked like he was really picking up that back leg, and you do that instinctively, worrying about the groin. Now I'm seeing him not riding the back leg like we normally would see, and he's really not getting that late life on the fastball. And you have to wonder, is it mechanics in his head as much as it is mechanics physically? This is not what we're normally used to seeing from Bailey. The breaking ball's inconsistent, so is the location with the fastball. Check swing and a miss. A runner takes off for second base and will safely get there. So that pitch there shows you how much this Pirate club is looking fastball. That ball hit a good 1.5 feet in front of home plate, and Marte was swinging. Couldn't hold up. Guessing fastball. I mean, check out where that ball hit. That was never a strike. That'll be scored a wild pitch against Homer Bailey. Moving Varmus into scoring position. Good movement on that fastball to get ahead at 1-2 on Starling Marte, who led off the game on a 1-2 pitch with a double down the right field line. For a power pitcher like Bailey, it's not just about arm speed. It's about those lower legs as well. That drive to the plate. Got him swinging. 2 away in the inning. Split-fingered fastball, the first one of the night for Bailey, and the bottom fell out of that. Marte looking fastball. Swung early on the breaking ball and swings way early here on the split. Travis Snyder bounced out to Todd Frazier his first time up. He bats with a runner at second and 2 away. Here you have two teams that have struggled so mightily to score runs, as you pointed out in the first inning. I mean, these pitching staffs has been spectacular so far this year, each allowing right at 3 runs per 9 innings. And here the Pirates in 2 at-bats have scored 3 already, and the Reds in 1 at-bat putting a pair on the board. struck him out to end the inning. But back-to-back home runs by Neil Walker and Gabby Sanchez give the Pirates a 3-2 lead.
Jim Day with you. I'm out below the smokestacks, and this is the perfect place in the ballpark to wish the hit king Pete Rose a happy 73rd birthday. Now, why the smokestacks? With the ongoing suspension from baseball, the Reds cannot retire his number or put the number 14 anywhere in this stadium. However, on top of the smokestacks adorns 14 bats. Coincidence or either way? Happy 73rd Peter Edward Rose, born on this date in 1941, Tom.
Happy birthday, Peter Edward. There's a pop fly ball off the bat of Ludwick into short right field to begin the inning, and Snyder will take care of that. Boy, we so much enjoy being around Pete Rose. He is so much fun to be around. So sharp, witty, funny. Knows the game inside and out, follows the game. We love it when he comes to the ballpark.
Every kid that I knew growing up, including myself, wanted to play the game the way Pete Rose played. The diving into second, home to second. There was not the nickname Charlie Hustle for nothing.
No. Evan Mesoraco down a strike, and to give you an idea just what kind of guy he is. I was working an NFL game this year with Troy Aikman, former Dallas Cowboy quarterback, standout, Hall of Famer. And he and I were the only two in this meeting room for hours all day on a Saturday. We were having the game the next day. We were in Denver. And he proceeds to tell me that his favorite athlete as a kid growing up, for all the reasons you just said, was Pete Rose. So I snuck out of the room and I got in touch with Pete and I said, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you call this number? There's a roller by the mound. That'll be an easy play for Walker, and that's 2 gone in the inning. I said, would you mind calling Troy Aikman on the phone just to say hello, because I just found out that you were his all-time favorite player. No problem. Phone rings 5 minutes later. Troy answers the phone. I'm sitting in the room. I don't tell him it's going to happen. And, you know, it's one of those where you're like, hello? Who? Pete Rose. Sure it is. And I look over, I'm like, it is.
That's him.
And they
that's pretty cool.
Proceeded to have a conversation for about the next 20 minutes. Very cool of Pete to do that. Didn't have to do it.
I still remember the day that Petey Jr. called to the big leagues We're all sitting in the dugout. Actually, we were standing in the dugout when he took the plate. Came to his first at bat, windmills, and he goes into the Pete Rose stance, his dad's stance. It sent chills up my spine.
Well, Wandy Rodriguez chills the Cincinnati bats in quick order. We go to the third, 3-2, Pittsburgh in front. Enjoy lunch and baseball. This should be Wednesday. Wednesday, not Thursday. Enjoy lunch and baseball for $15. You can head to Great American Ballpark this Wednesday, day after tomorrow. Reds and the Pirates. Call 381-REDS or visit reds.com/skipwork. And you have to buy those, by the way, for that price in advance of game day only. So give us a call or log on right now. $15. 12:35 game, and what a matchup that'll be. Left-hander Francisco Liriano for the Pirates and Johnny Cueto for the Reds. And I would imagine, based on what happened in that one-game playoff last year, that Johnny Cueto, who's been so brilliant already this year despite not getting a win, will be even a little more amped up.
Well, before Cueto had the lat injury issue, he was the pitcher that everyone talked about facing the Pirates because he flat out dominated.
Two and two on Andrew McCutchen. He knocked in the game's first run with a single into center field, plating Starling Marte. Reds got a 2-run home run by Frazier to take the lead. Short-lived it was, when Walker and Sanchez hit back-to-back home runs to begin the Pirates' second inning.
Starting to see Bailey get a little more downhill with the release point. Stand tall on the mound, drive the ball to the plate. Ball is starting to get down in the lower part of the strike zone instead of up and in the middle where we saw the home runs earlier. Split finger fastball, and Bailey held on to that one a little too long. Mesoraco had set up inside against McCutchen, and in the back of Homer's mind, I'm sure he was thinking, I don't want to make a mistake inside to this guy.
In the air, right field. Jay Bruce backing up and has room. 2 steps in front of the wall.
McCutcheon hit that ball all the way to the wall flat-footed. See Jay extending that arm, trying to feel for the wall as he hits the track. It's a lonely feeling out there. Sometimes you step onto that track, you're not sure how close that wall is.
Pedro Alvarez popped up to Frazier his first time up. Quickly behind, 0-1. Pirates won 94 games a year ago. Went to the postseason for the first time since 1992. They had the National League's Manager of the Year. They had the National League's Most Valuable Player. They had a couple of others, won Silver Slugger awards and one who won a Gold Glove. And they did it primarily with pitching. They were 9th in runs scored in the National League last year. 9th.
Well, the guy we're going to see tomorrow night, or the Reds are going to see tomorrow night, and Garrett Cole. That's a young stud coming. You like to see young pitchers take the mound with a little attitude. He's got it.
Once more by Alvarez, popped up to the left side, and once more it'll be Frazier and fair ground for the second out of the inning. Now's your chance to tweet your photo using hashtag #OhioFanPhoto, and you'll have a chance to have it shown during a telecast here on Fox Sports Ohio. That is provided by AT&T. So 2 up, 2 down for Bailey. And now he'll get a look at Russell Martin, who bounced into a fielder's choice at Cozart to end the first inning.
You can see Bailey now really concentrating on the ball down in the zone. When he's missing with the fastball, it's low and not in the middle of the plate. Back-to-back homers has a tendency to do that to you.
Well, the breaking ball is what he had Martin chasing his first time up. 1-1.
This is a curveball from Bailey. Much bigger break. Straight down. Looks like that mid-thigh fastball until it starts heading down towards the plate.
Two and two. Bailey not only looking for a 1-2-3 inning, looking for his first scoreless frame. A strike away from doing just that. 2-2 on Martin.
Some serious plate discipline to lay off that high fastball after 2 breaking balls that started in the same spot.
Got him a chase, and that's all. A 1-2-3 third. Bailey with 4 strikeouts in the game and trails after 2.5 by a run. Sports Ohio brought to you by JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. By Toyota. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. And go for the Save on Wing Tuesday. Especially priced wings all day at Buffalo Wild Wings. Right along the banks and the Riverfront Park. We welcome you back to downtown Cincinnati. 3-2. Pirates lead over Homer Bailey and the Reds. Bailey to lead things off against Wandy Rodriguez. Then Billy Hamilton and Joey Votto. You know, think about this Pirate team, and you brought it up earlier, Cowboy. You know, you look at their rotations, and every team, it doesn't matter what you did the year before, every team has question marks. And you look at the rotation. As Bailey's gone swinging, I think we all agree Cole has a chance to be a #1 starter for a long time to come. Liriano had an outstanding year last year. And most people feel like he has a legitimate chance to have another good year this year. It's after that where the questions begin in the Pirate rotation. You've got Wandy Rodriguez, who only threw, 60-plus innings last year. He had elbow issues, forearm issues. You have Charlie Morton, who, while on any given day can look like the best pitcher in the league, his career RA is fractionally under 5. And then you have the former Red,
Edinson Volquez.
So, while there are strengths and their bullpen is lights out, there is no denying that. There are questions in the starting rotation. And Hamilton pops the ball up. And it is caught by Sanchez.
Yeah, you and I were talking earlier about the left-hander Jeff Locke, who started the season on the disabled list. He was as good as they had early in the season last year, an all-star, and he's starting the season in AAA, trying to get things back to normal.
I mean, things fell apart for him immediately. He didn't tell anybody he was injured. My, oh my, if I'm not mistaken, he was an all-star last year.
He was devastating, and he was awfully good against the Reds.
Well, now Votto with 2 down and nobody on, and there's an excuse me roller, and boy, the Reds in the last 2 innings have not seen more than 5, 6, 7 pitches. Still a 1-run Pirate lead. To watch tonight's game, we'll jump on Game Day Live right now. Ask your question to the Hall of Famer Hal McCoy. Keep up to date with all things Blue Jackets. Are getting ready for the Penguins in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Braxton Miller, what did he do this weekend to poke fun at the Wolverines? All that and more. FoxSportsOhio.com, brought to you by 1-800-SAFE Auto Drive. Safe, spend less. Pirates bat here in the 4th inning against Homer Bailey, leading 3-2. Neil Walker led off the 2nd inning with the first of what would be back-to-back home runs, and he leads off the 4th inning. Homer Bailey's fan 4 allowed 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 home runs. 0-2.
Tell you, Tom, both of these teams, Reds and Pirates, swinging early and often. Especially a guy like Neil Walker or a guy like Joey Votto. They see as many pitches as any hitter in the big leagues. Not taking too many tonight.
Well, the last 2 innings alone, 6 Reds batters have gone down on a total of 17 pitches.
You hear so many times, Tom, when you talk about pitching, keeping the ball down around the knees or up above the hands. Anything in between is trouble. Well, when you stay down around the knees, if you make a mistake, you usually don't get hit. They usually don't swing because they see it as a ball. But when you're up around the thighs all the time, those are the balls that get hammered, especially the mistakes.
Light rain beginning to fall once more. They're calling for rain pretty much the entire night, with the heavier stuff not doing, at least from what we're told, until later on tonight. A lot of folks came prepared for this. A lot of the youngsters, especially a lot of the local Catholic schools, with this being the week of Easter, and of course Easter Sunday we will celebrate this coming weekend, are out of school on their spring break this week. So we see a number of youngsters in the crowd. And that one shot into left field. That'll fall into base hit. Ludwick over to cut it off. And Walker leads off the Pirate 4th with his 2nd hit.
Even after being down in the count 0-2, Walker sees 6 pitches in this at bat and ends up with a single. Bailey has to come with the fastball. Mesoraco wanted it in. The ball runs back out over the plate. And you could see where the pitch was, thigh high.
Well, Sanchez absolutely destroyed the pitches last time up. We thought Frazier's was hit a long way. It appeared that Sanchez's went even further than that. Off that batter's eye in straightaway center field. Right around the same neighborhood anyway. And now Homer has requested the grounds crew come out with a light rain falling and do a little work on the mound and clean up where you try and clean up your spikes. We remind you that Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you a great value this season. It's called the Kroger Meal Deal. It's a great buck for $9. And check concession stands around the ballpark. It includes a hot dog, a bag of chips, a 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, David sunflower seeds. All that for $9. So make sure to get your Kroger Meal Deal next time you come to Great American Ballpark.
Well, I was talking earlier about Homer Bailey and the groin issue that sidelined him early in spring training and really took him off his regular rotation. You got a wet mound. If you feel any kind of slip at all, even if it's just in your head, it's raining, you ask him to come and dry it up a little bit. Because when that front foot lands, if it slides even in the slightest whatsoever, it's not going to get you on the front leg. It's going to get you on the back leg. Watch this pitch from Bailey to Sanchez, and you can see that front foot slide forward. All the pressure goes to the heel of the foot. You feel it immediately.
And after 4 or 5 warm-up tosses, he gives the okay. That grounds crew's been mighty busy here in the early part of this year. They caught a break over the weekend with all the beautiful weather we had, but of course coming on the heels of the first 3 games here at Great American Ballpark after opening day. Those last 2, it was ugly. They do a great job. Great job. All right, 1-0 to Sanchez. And now 2 balls and no strikes.
Weather ugly, field of play outstanding.
Tomorrow night we're told it's supposed to be dry. It is going to be cold.
That's an understatement.
But then Wednesday it's supposed to be spectacular. Bright sunshine and back up over 60 degrees. That one rolled foul. 2-1 on Gabby Sanchez.
So how's that going to affect my sinuses?
Well, I got to tell you, big boy, from what I hear,
may not be good.
I just hear that it's going to be. Is that allergies? Is that you? Yeah, I hear that it has a chance to be a really, really rough spring for those that suffer from the allergies because of everything blooming later than normal, and it's all going to bloom all at one time. So I wish you well.
I don't normally have that. It just has happened this year. Maybe it's because I'm over the half-century mark.
that might do it on multiple levels.
I've run out of room here. No more wiggle room. Hang with him.
Well, the count is 1-2. That second pitch in the at-bat to Sanchez was a strike, not a ball. That's a ball. It's 2-2.
But Bailey could really use a double play ball right here.
In the air and out of play.
That was an emergency swing by Gabby Sanchez. Breaking ball starts in the middle, and you can see that very late swing almost chopping at that breaking ball as it snapped away from him.
Nobody out. Leadoff man aboard here in the Pirate 4th inning. Bucks leading 3-2. And this could be that double play. What a nice play. Cozart bobbled after he initially had it. They get the lead runner on the broken bat and 1 hopper.
Looked like that ball got on the label, but it got deep enough at the shortstop position where it took a short hop on Cozart. And we've seen Zach come up with that play many times, and he looked like he caught the ball fine, but the exchange from glove to hand, it bobbled just a bit.
So now the number 8 hitter, Clint Barmes, he looped one over the head of Brandon Phillips for a single his first time up. 80th pitch of the game for Homer Bailey, and a strike 1 to Barmes, 1 on and 1 out. Good pitch right there. Fastball in on the hands.
Well, even when you have as many hit batters as we saw these two clubs have last year, you still have to pitch inside. If you decide, okay, well, I don't want to hit anybody because I don't want to create a havoc out here, well, then you're pitching to the strength of the batter. If you just stay down and away, you're going to get hit hard. You've got to come in at least sometime. That doesn't mean you hit the guy. You just get him to move back off the plate.
Got him swinging. And for Bailey, strikeout number 5, and that's a second out here in the inning.
Good slider down and away following that hard fastball in. Actually, that was a split finger from Bailey. Really had some good downward movement. It fooled Barmas big time.
Another pair of Central Division rivals are squaring off in the first of 3 tonight. The Cardinals in Milwaukee. The Brewers, the hottest team in all of baseball. They have won 9 in a row. And they are 10-2 to begin the year. Cardinals are batting in the first inning. We'll keep you up to speed on that one the rest of the night.
Brewers have been hitting the baseball.
And pitching. I mean, they completely shut down this Pirate team over the weekend, but they've been shutting everybody down.
Hey, you get runs early, you can take a few chances. It gives you a little bit of relaxed attitude on the mound. Not that you just say, okay, well, I'm just going to throw it down the middle, but it gives you some added confidence. You know that you don't make one mistake, it's a home run, and you lose the ball game. You get a run early, makes a lot of difference on the hill. You get 5 early, makes a whole lot of difference. Thank you very much.
1-2 to count on the pitcher Rodriguez. It'll stay there. I mean, here the Pirates come in here tonight. They scored 3 runs in the first 2 innings. They scored 5 runs in 3 games in Milwaukee for the entire weekend.
Start seeing balls that are hit out of the ballpark early in the ball game. You're starting to see hitters catch the timing.
Hitting over. A hit a man left. Phillips, Frazier, Bruce coming up. Reds trail Rodriguez and the Pirates by a run.
He made his next step in his recovery today through his first bullpen session. And I tell you what, it went very, very well. He threw 25 pitches, threw all his pitches. Brian Price was there, General Manager Walt Jockey, Jeff Pico, and others. Here is Brian Price.
Threw the ball outstanding. He threw all of his pitches, including his slider. He was sharp, extremely enthusiastic, and happy to be out there, as we all were. And it was, we're all out there to watch it. It was exciting.
Chapman will now throw a series of bullpens. The next step will be live BP. But until that injury heal some more above that left eye. They don't want to put him in harm's way and put him in front of live hitters, but that would be the next step. But Tom and Cowboy, this has been a remarkable recovery, and again, I'll say it again, this is one tough dude, Aroldis Chapman.
No doubt about that. And one name you omitted from having a chance to see some of that, the Cowboy himself.
You know, just watching him throw, Tom, it makes you realize there was nothing ever wrong with his arm. He got hit in the head. The recovery, as much as anything, will be the surgery and then the mental recovery to get back out on the hill. I think Chapman is going to be ready himself sooner than what the Reds are going to be able to put him out there. They may have to temper him down a little bit. He's going to be chomping at the bit.
How long, though, Cowboys' Brandon Phillips leads off the inning, Reds down a run, and he takes a strike. Because of a layoff, and obviously, you know, he's been throwing in the outfield for a little over a week now and playing catch. Today goes to the mound. That ball in the air to right field, and that's an easy play for Snyder. One away. From an arm strength standpoint, though, Cowboy, what are you thinking about there in terms of having him then ready?
I think his arm will be so ready at least a couple of weeks before they're going to let him go out there. I bet if you asked Aroldis, he could tell you he could go out there and pitch right now. I mean, we're talking about a guy with a different type of physical tool than we're used to seeing. He's an incredible athlete. I don't think he's lost anything as far as his arm shape.
That ball may have hit Snyder in the face. He went into the slide, and it may have ricocheted off his glove and hit him in the face. I think it's what his teammates are asking him.
Hit him in the cheek.
I don't know if it ever hit the glove.
Must have taken his eye off the ball, looking at the wall as he went into the slide.
Right in the mouth.
Yep.
Golly day. Here we are talking about Chapman, and a player on the field gets hit with a ball right in the face.
Must have caught him in the chin, the way that they're looking at the jaws and back up around the ears.
You can read his lips. Fine, fine. Clint Hurdle asked him. Said, I'm good. You can rest assured. They're going to check him out now. He will take a verbal beating.
That's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee. Thankfully, he's all right.
I can remember back in the days here, Deion Sanders went back for a ball, hit him right on the top of the head, bounced away in a very similar incident.
Now, I think that Brian Price might be challenging. When that ball hit Snyder, was he in fair territory? And this has to be a challenge for them to be coming over to look at it. And it looks like his face there, and I'm not being facetious when I say that.
It was in fair territory.
In fair ground.
I think the Reds have a valid challenge here.
So Jerry Davis, the crew chief, working at third base tonight.
And let's face it, Tom, that had to come from inside, from the Reds video booth, or however you want to call it, with Rob Coughlin. I mean, he had to be able to see that, call down to the dugout immediately. There's no way anybody in the dugout could see where that ball is because of the curve in the stands. I think the Reds are going to win this one.
Well, right at 30% is the number where we are so far in this very young season as far as calls being overturned by replay. 30% of them.
The question now is, do you put Frazier at second or do you put him at first?
I think they would put him in second base.
You could see where the ball, not only did it hit the chin, but it also hit the jersey. And that ball was in fair territory when it made contact with Travis Snyder.
Remember now, if you challenge and you win, you have another challenge in the game. If you challenge a call and lose, you're out. And thankfully, the bottom line is Snyder appears to be all right.
It's not where your body is. It is where the ball is when it makes contact with the glove or your physical being.
Surprised it is taking this long. Normally they are very quick to render a decision. Watching back in the command center in New York, where an umpiring crew, part of their regular circulation throughout the course of a year, will have them stop in New York and stay there for 3 or 4 days at a time.
Fair ball.
And they're going to send the runner to second base. Saw Jerry Davis point out towards second base. So it appeared as though they get the call right, and Clint Hurdle's not going to come out and argue about it. So that'll be we'll see how they score it.
It's got to be a double. I think as much as anything, Tom, they were trying to figure out where to put Frazier.
It has scored a double for Todd Frazier. So now Jay Bruce. Jay Bruce is on record and on the Reds caravan. He's been asked this question year after year after year, and he doesn't even blink an eye when he is asked what pitcher gives him the most trouble of all of those in Major League Baseball, and his answer without hesitation is Wandy Rodriguez. And the numbers would bear that out. That includes tonight when he popped up to left field.
Well, that curveball that Rodriguez has is the one that gives Bruce the most trouble. There it is.
Hook to the right side. Frazier will go to third. 2 away in the inning.
If Rodriguez was throwing the hard slider that started on the plate and broke off, he's doing Jay Bruce a favor. When you throw a breaking ball that starts at the batter or behind the batter and then breaks over the plate, tough to be aggressive on that kind of pitch.
So now the Reds are leaning on Ryan Ludwick to try and collect a 2-out hit. That's a tying run standing down there at third with 2 away, and it is really starting to rain.
We talked earlier about these clubs playing 1-run ball games early. These are the kinds of hits that make the difference.
Well, Jerry Davis is a man who will make the call if we're going to stop playing.
And this is by far the toughest conditions that we've seen yet at one of the crucial times for the Reds.
Fans scurrying for cover. Those that did not bring a poncho and did not bring an umbrella. One and one on Ryan Ludwick.
It looks to me that Ludwick is dead set on trying to shoot the ball the other way. He's only got one defender on the right side of the infield, and that's the first baseman, Gabby Sanchez. And Rodriguez continues to throw him away. Breaking balls, backdoor fashion, the changeup and the fastball on the outer half.
That breaking ball ran in. 3-1 on Ryan Ludwick. Looked like he pulled off that one a little bit. 3-1 pitch, and when you throw that changeup up there, you're going to be way out in front.
Well, you see the breaking ball at almost the same speed break in as you said earlier. Then you come back with a changeup. You started in the same spot. And instead of coming in, it just fades away. You run out of bat.
3-2 pitch. In the air, straight away, center field, hit well. McCutchen at the track, at the wall, goodbye.
Three straight off-speed pitches. The curveball missed in. Got him way out in front on the first changeup. And Ludwick got him on the second changeup. A 3-2 change, and he unloads to dead center. They set up away. Ludwick still trying to keep the hands back to shoot the ball the other way. That's dead center.
Well, here in a few minutes, the Animals will be lining up 2 by 2.
Hey, for two teams that have struggled offensively to begin this season, we have seen a whole lot of thunder here on a cool, rainy night.
See what I mean? Did you see the Animals? They're already lining up 2 by 2.
I saw the go.
There you go. There's one of them. Bouncer down to Alvarez, and that's all. 2-run home run by Ludwick. All of that started on an overturned call. And at the end of 4, the Reds in front by a run. For the time being, continue to play. A Nissan drive of the game. You just saw it. 3-2 pitch, dead central. We've seen 3 of those off the batter's eye already in this game tonight. Frazier, Sanchez, and now Ludwick. Well, they're going to try and at least get it to a point where we would have an official game. Pirates batting here in the top half of the 5th inning. They have the top of the order, and this is imperative for Bailey to come out and get after it right now with a 1-run lead. Gabby Sanchez has thrown 50 pitches. Bailey is about to throw his 90th pitch. But in the many quirks of baseball, no matter how long you watch, there's always something new. It's a guy throwing his 90th who has a 1-run lead. In the air, left field, and the lead is gone. Holy mackerel. That is the second time tonight the Reds have given Homer Bailey a lead. And on the very next batter, the lead vanished.
Breaking ball, you see the glove from Mesoraco. It goes from the ground up above the mask, and the ball leaves the building.
Third home run hit by the Pirates in this game. So we begin anew. 4-4, one batter into the fifth inning. Snyder's bounced to third and struck out. This ball hit hard and deep into left field. And the Pirates have the lead on back-to-back home runs for a second time in a game.
See again, the ball up in the zone. And Homer sees that as being inside. That ball was not inside. It ran back over the meat of the plate. And even with a tardy swing, Snyder's able to hit it out.
Well, 4 home runs allowed by Bailey, the most he's ever surrendered in any start. And tonight, the 146th start of his career. So now the Reds are forced to play catch up again. In 13 innings so far this year, Homer Bailey has now given up 6 home runs. Bailey gave up 20, if you're wondering, all of last year. And that was in over 200 innings. McCutchen gone on strike, 7 of those in the game for Bailey. 1 out here in the 5th.
Split finger from Bailey. It's all about location. Keep the ball down, you get outs. Ball up around the thighs and the belt, they go a long way.
Pedro Alvarez twice has popped up to Todd Frazier.
Alvarez, one of those types of hitters you just don't want to let him get extended. Bailey's kept it tight on him each time at the plate tonight.
Right-hander J.J. Hoover begins to loosen in the Reds bullpen. Homer Bailey's spot is due up second in the bottom of this 5th inning. 8 strikeouts in a game for Bailey. 2 away in the inning. The count on Russell Martin. And it is really starting to come down. It did for a few minutes there, lightened up a little bit. But heavy once more. Umpires, of course, allowing this top of the 5th inning to begin and give the Pirates a crack at Homer Bailey here in the 5th inning, and they took advantage of it. Got a home run by Marte to tie it. A home run by Snyder to take this 1-run lead. And now while we wait on a new baseball and Homer Bailey to dry off his right hand before a 1-2 pitch to Russell Martin. And that's strike 3 to end the inning. Second time tonight, however, the Pirates go back-to-back. And they lead by a run. Home runs in the top of this 5th inning, and the rain continues to fall quite hard. The field is starting to get messy, and the grounds crew out there trying to make it playable as best they can.
And they're going to have their work cut out for them. When you can start to see the shine along the infield as far as the dirt goes, that's got to be erased. You can see the shine over on the first base side as well as the third base. That's where water is starting to accumulate. You can really see the shine there. That's what that drying substance that they're putting on the field and continuing to rake across. And this where footing gets a little treacherous, even with the dirt dry on the field.
There's that shine you're talking about, Cowboy. You can probably see it at home. Well, we invite you to get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game. We call it Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing, right here on your exclusive home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio. Well, Ronnie Rodriguez out there getting his warm-up pitches in. I mean, that grounds crew is furiously emptying bag after bag of dry dirt, more sand than dirt.
And the problem that comes in here, Tom, is you can put 1,000 bags on that infield. If it continues to rain the way that it is, there's only so much water it can absorb. Then you turn the infield into quicksand. Nobody can move.
Well, we told you the Columbus Blue Jackets are in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and in Game 1 they'll be taking on Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That'll be this Wednesday night, day after tomorrow. And of course, you can tune in. Coverage of Game 1 begins at 7 p.m. with Blue Jackets live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Bob Pennell was filling us in. You know, he's a guy that's keeping an eye on guys like you and me on a regular basis, Cowboy.
Good luck.
Look at John out there. Looking good, John. Prepared, ready to roll.
Got that poncho working.
Yes, indeed. These guys have been at it for a long time. Best crew around any ballpark in all of baseball. But Bob Pennell was telling me, he said, you know, the Blue Jackets are, the number 7 seed. And they are taking on Pittsburgh, the number 2 seed. But that the Blue Jackets have played the Penguins very tough this year. So that could be a good series in the opening round in the NHL. I did not know is a best of 7. So that's a long road, brother.
Well, is there any hockey game that's not played tough?
Oh, no. You're right. Those are tough guys.
There is some major scrapping going on that ice.
No doubt about it. Now look at these guys. Cowboy, did you ever stand out in the rain like that as a kid?
I'm sure I probably did.
Yeah.
I probably stomped in the puddles, just like Mason and Lukey do.
But see, you know what I love doing now as an adult? I love trying to catch my kids walking home from school, come peeling around the corner, and there's a puddle right around the side of the road. You swing over in that puddle. I can't get them. They know I'm sophomoric behavior, I understand. Rodriguez trying to clean off those spikes. Zach Cozart, his first 8 games, 1 hit. Last 2 games, he has 3 of them, including a pair of doubles. And his ball in the air to right center field, looking into the rain. McCutcheon, 1 out. And he is our steel power tool performer, Zach Cozart. Like to think that that'll get him started these last couple of games. Bailey will be taken down, and his 3rd less than stellar start in a row to begin this year. 104 pitches in 5 innings. Pirates get 8 hits, 4 of them home runs. And they score 5 times. Bailey didn't walk anybody, struck out 8. Neftali Soto struck out 9, I beg your pardon. Neftali Soto. More than capable if he can run into one of tying this baby up here in the 5th.
Well, you look at the strikeouts from Bailey and you think, well, 9 strikeouts. The game should have been good because he had his stuff back as far as physical stuff, breaking ball, split finger, the fastball velocity. But location still a little sketchy.
That is a fair ball by Neftali Soto. And he will go cruising into second base with a pinch hit double, his first hit. His at-bats have been few and far between. Not even a handful of them to begin this year. And that is his first major league hit. Congratulations, young man. He got 12 at-bats with the Reds last year.
Well, he got that double by the hair of his chinny chin as Jerry Davis, crew chief, was standing right on the line. That went right over the very outside of the third base bag.
3rd official at bat of the year, and Hamilton, first pitch swinging, lifts a fly ball into center field. Boy, Billy is chasing early and often here tonight. Advancing on to 3rd is Soto, and he is standing there at 3rd with 2 away in the inning.
The one thing you're taught as a speedster, keep the ball out of the air. And if you're Billy Hamilton, you've got to let that home run number go by the wayside. Forget about it.
So the Reds looking for a 2-out hit from Joey Votto. Tying run at third. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Votto in the air off the left-hander. Rodriguez plays long ball, and the Reds have the lead again.
Second career home run for Votto off of Wandy Rodriguez, and now his 8th RBI on a curveball. Get me over breaking ball, Hammer City. Look where this ball ends up, right in the heart of the plate. If you're the catcher, you want to grab it before you hear that.
Big time clutch right there from Joey Votto. A 2-out, 2-run home run. That's his 3rd home run in the last 4 games.
Somebody's getting hot, and I like it.
Votto now with 3 home runs, 6 batted in. And that is a base hit in the left center field by Brandon Phillips. Here you have 2 teams that have had such a hard time scoring. And I mean, no sooner does one club take the lead and the other one's banging one in the seats to get it back.
Well, this is how this series has gone. We talked about the hit batters. That's got to be re-emphasized in your mind when you come to the ballpark and that opponent is standing in the other dugout. This has become as much of a rivalry as it has with St. Louis. It is what the National League Central has become.
Ray Searage, pitching coach under Clint Hurdle, out to visit with Wandy Rodriguez. Still raining and really raining. John Browdy down in a truck informs me that it's not raining up in Clifton. It's only about 4 miles from here. Straight up Vine Street.
Well, it's raining straight down here.
Yes, it is.
And it ain't stopping. Pirates have action in their bullpen. Right-hander Brian Morris throwing.
Man, is it raining.
At least that 2-run home run by Votto was huge here.
Number right at the first baseman, and that'll be all. So Votto, a 2-run home run with 2 outs. It's an official game. We're off to the 6th. The Reds lead by a run. Reds players? Well, don't miss a Reds Community Fund Family Catch. That'll be after the Reds and the Blue Jays Sunday, June the 22nd. Now you can select from 2 packages that include the opportunity to play catch on the field, 2 tickets to the June 22nd game, and more. To check it all out, and I know many of you would like to, visit Reds.com/catch, CATCH, to sign up today. Well, the grounds crew at it again.
Well, the infield right now would qualify as treacherous. All of that stuff that they're pouring out there on the infield, they're going to have to reorder as of right now because they're going to run out.
And you did say right now.
Right now.
I mean, we got to get back to some of the cowboy. You know, I
got to get my feet wet in here first.
I know you do. Well, a good time to get your feet wet.
Yeah, right now.
Right now. And we'll drop in a thank you and a yes sir and many of them.
Well, at this point in time, when you see that kind of water beating up on the infield, whoever has the lead at the moment, big time advantage, because it could be the final pitch. I mean, we are in a completed game as we stand right now. That is, if they decided to call it.
Now, wouldn't you love to have these guys working on your lawn? Huh?
Yes, I would. I'll be looking good.
And these guys.
You know, I'd love to have my yard mowed like this, where it was in a checker. Wonder what the folks down in Jackson think about that. Be looking good.
You wouldn't even need to ask the question. How are we looking?
No doubt.
Well, coming up tonight after Reds Live, find out if Cincinnati sports fans really know their sports trivia. On Beer Money, presented by Yuengling Light Lager. Don't miss the premiere tonight after Reds Live.
Looks like we're just going to play on.
Look at Jay Bruce out there talking to some of the fans that are out there.
If it wasn't so chilly, he could put on his bathing suit. Got enough water out there to swim right now. But it's all about the mound, Tom. As long as the pitcher's not sliding, they don't care. Play on.
Well, JJ's about ready, and JJ Hoover is coming on to replace Homer Bailey, who, after that Joey Votto home run, Bailey is in line
for the W,
for a win. Of course, we got a long way to go in this one. This is only the top of the 6th inning. The Cardinals have taken a 1-0 lead. They're batting in the 3rd inning in Milwaukee, where the Brewers have won 9 in a row. They got a home run from Johnny Peralta. That guy doesn't have many hits, but he's got a few bombs.
For a while there, he only had 2 hits, and they were both home runs against the Reds.
So here we go. Neil Walker against J.J. Hoover to begin the Pirates' 6th inning. And a breaking ball misses. Walker has homered and singled. Gabby Sanchez to follow, then Clinton Barmas, and undoubtedly we will see a pinch hitter for Wandy Rodriguez. In the air, right center. Well hit. Bruce at the wall. Leaps, did he get it? He did not. It is a home run, and for the 3rd time in this game, after the Reds had taken the lead, the very first batter in the following inning homers to take the lead away. Unbelievable.
Talked about offensive futility for each team coming into this ball game. So see Jay swat, trying to catch that ball. It is has been home. Oh my goodness.
And now the Pirates have the lead for the third time tonight. They have gone back-to-back. Walker and Sanchez in the second. Marte and Snyder in the fifth. Walker and Sanchez do it again in the sixth inning. And Brian Price is in a state of shock. And you can't blame him. Hoover has thrown 3 pitches, and 2 of them leave the yard.
Well, there may have been 28 hit batters last year, but if I'm out there and this is what we're seeing getting teed off on, you better start pitching inside. That ball out over the plate is getting hammered.
But 9 home runs, and bear in mind we are only 2 batters into the 6th inning. Matches a Great American Ballpark all-time record for a single game. Last done in 2012. We remember that game on May the 27th when Colorado was here. That's when Cargo and Tulowitzki and up and down that lineup, they were hitting bombs out of this place. Reds were teeing off on Jamie Moyer, as I recall, that night. But tonight is not a warm summer night. The temperature has been tumbling like the rain ever since this game got started. Temperatures expected tonight to slip into the 30s. And Hoover's going to get an out. Jose Tabata will come up at bat for Wandy Rodriguez, who like Bailey at least 5 minutes ago, does not pitch well. He gives up 6 runs and now would qualify for a win.
I mean, if you're a hitter right now, you have no presence at all about the inside part of the plate. You're just diving out over and trying to catch something for both clubs.
On swinging Tabata on 3 pitches. So Bailey goes 5, allows 8 hits, 5 earned runs. Wandy Rodriguez goes 5, allows 6 hits, 6 earned runs. And the Pirates lead 7-6. We have played 11 half innings of baseball, nearly 11. And we have seen scoring in 8 of the 11 half innings. Pirates had a scoreless 3rd and 4th. Reds a scoreless 2nd and 3rd. So I beg your pardon, we've had 4 scoreless half innings of the 11.
A whole lot of crooked numbers up there.
Marte went around, and it's 1-2. You said before this game ever started, Cowboy, before a pitch was thrown, and for Homer Bailey, it was to stay away from the long ball. He gave up 4 home runs tonight. Rodriguez gave up 3 home runs. And now Hoover has surrendered 2. That'll be all for the Pirates. But for the second time in this game, the duo of Walker and Sanchez go back to back. Pirates have done it 3 times. with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, score stats, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Visit Reds.com today. Well, the way we're going tonight, we might finally give away that Tundra. If a Red hits a home run off that Toyota sign, Samantha Deck of Cincinnati will win that Tundra right there. Register for your chance to win in an upcoming game by visiting your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. The way they're hitting them tonight, somebody might hit one off the Tundra.
Well, if they do, it'll be the first run that this cat's given up. Has not walked a batter, struck out 5, has yet to give up a run. Brian Morris. A lot of cut fastballs from this guy. Grounds crew may set a record for most consecutive innings coming onto the field and pouring out dozens of bags of Diamond Dry.
The good news is it is really lightened up rainwater.
Yes.
But they are very, very busy, and Morris will have more than enough time to make sure that mound is okay while they continue to address the very wet infield.
And the one thing that you do here as a grounds crew and as the umpires supervising this issue is you try to make sure that around the base paths and where the position players normally play. Now, granted, this is a different type of baseball now with all the shifts that go on, but the normal spots that you have your position players in, that's where you want the footing the best, around the base paths and where your defense is positioned on the infield. I've got to believe Jay Bruce is very happy that Wandy Rodriguez has left the field of play.
3 for 37 is Jay Bruce in his career after the 0 for 2 tonight. Bruce, Ludwick, and Mesoraco against Morris. Strike 1. Got some giddy up.
Sink it away, cut it in with mid-90s velocity.
This young man grew up in a town called Tullahoma, Tennessee. That is in between Nashville,
Tullahoma,
and Chattanooga. Tullahoma.
They used to make aluminum bats in that town.
Right along Highway 24. And still makes his home in the state of Tennessee. 2-2 on Jay Bruce.
I remember using a bat when I was growing up called the Tullahoma Thumper.
Really?
Yes, sir. I didn't get thumped a whole lot. That's why I ended up on the mound instead of in the field of play.
Well, that's just old Tennessee country hardball right there.
Here it is. See if you can hit it. Hard running fastball, a two-seamer. You start it in the middle, tease the hitter, and run it off the plate away.
This Pirate bullpen had the 3rd best ERA in all of Major League Baseball. They had the 3rd best walks plus hits per inning allowed in the major leagues. 3rd lowest on base plus slugging percentage in the major leagues. Morris retires the first 2. Nice play there made by Sanchez over at first base. So hitters only were able to chalk up a .229 batting average against this Pirate bullpen last year, and they have all 7 of the mainstays from that bullpen from a year ago back this year.
Well, Justin Wilson, the left-hander that comes in usually in the 7th inning, sometimes the 8th, just a flamethrower from the left side. He's the one that hit Brandon Phillips in that left forearm that really derailed his season. Then you've got Mark Melanson and then the closer Jason Grilli. They're all still down there. And I don't think anything is off the velocity of those 3 guys.
In the air left field. Did he get enough? You better believe it. And we're tied again.
Tell you what, you better not get close to Mesoraco or you're going to catch fire. Yeah.
Mesoraco has come off the disabled list. He has 8 hits in 17 at bats, 3 doubles, now 3 home runs. The Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania kid.
He is punishing the baseball. I mean, look at that bat flip. He knew it was gone as soon as he connected.
Devin Mesoraco is the first Reds catcher with an extra base hit in each of his first 5 games of a season. First one ever. That includes a fellow named Johnny Lee. Since 1914, Cal Daniels had an extra base hit in 5 straight games to begin a year in 1988. But Mesoraco, the first catcher to ever do it in a Reds uniform. And we are tied at 7.
Well, I know that Johnny was talking last year about Mesoraco and his offensive predictions of what he thinks Devin can do if he's able to play every day. And I agree with him. I think Mesoraco is going to hit. He's hit everywhere he's been. The big key before you move him up in the middle of the lineup is a lot of folks would like to say, hey, let's bat him in the 4 spot. You want to have him build up that confidence not only at the plate but also behind the plate catching. You feel confident as a big leaguer before you start moving him up in the lineup.
Two and one the count on Zach Kozart, and it's rolled over foul. IGS bringing the energy. How about bringing the long ball? A great American ballpark record, and we are in the 6th inning. 10 home runs have been clubbed in this game.
And it's rainy and cold.
Pirates have hit 6. Reds have hit 4.
I saw a comment from Frank Thomas the other day talking about the ball doesn't fly like that in April. That he hit plenty of them and they didn't fly like that. He was talking about the balls being juiced. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but the baby's flying in April this year.
Reds get a home run by Mesoraco. And we're off to the 7th, and that number is wild. We're tied at 7.